The integration between XMPie StoreFlow and Avanti Slingshot provides real-time bidirectional communication between the two systems. Features of this integration include real-time synchronization of availability of finished good catalog items from Avanti Slingshot inventory, injection of customer order details from XMPie to create sales orders in Avanti Slingshot automatically, automatic feedback of status and tracking details from Avanti Slingshot shipments or shipments created in Avanti Slingshot, including tracking numbers and status. The integrated workflow starts with the customer submitting an order through XMPie StoreFlow. XMPie StoreFlow then submits or injects the order into the Avanti Slingshot XML loader module using XML. The sales order is created automatically and released automatically as well. Along the workflow, there are pieces of automation, levels of automation that can be turned on to further automate the process within the Avanti Slingshot system and the integrations themselves. So the sales order is released to create a job for production and or a pick for fulfillment. The job itself can then be routed to additional processing or third-party systems using JDF. In this example, we have the Xerox FreeFlow Core workflow included in the workflow. So that's going to route the job. Any operations that occur in the Xerox FreeFlow Core workflow can also report back status to the job. When the job is actually produced, materials and status are sent back to the job in Avanti Slingshot. So you have all of the information in the Avanti Slingshot job at any time. When the job is complete and when the fulfillment items are picked, the job is shipped. As materials and items are used, inventory is updated in the Avanti Slingshot database. And the XMPie StoreFlow system uses the inventory API of Avanti Slingshot to sync up the levels of available items within the catalog. So at any given time, the customer ordering an item can see the available quantity of that item based on real-time status or availability of that item in the Avanti Slingshot database. When the job or order is shipped, the status of the job as being shipped is sent back to the XMPie StoreFlow system and it's updated for the customer. The information sent back in that update includes the status as well as the tracking numbers. So the user or the customer that placed the order can see the tracking information right in the storefront, the same system that they placed the order. And the further on to the workflow then, of course, is the shipment of the item itself creates the packing slips and the labels within the Avanti Slingshot system, as well as the invoice from the billing area and onto accounting. Now we can have a look at what the integration looks like to the customer, as well as the employee in both XMPie and Avanti Slingshot. I'll first submit or open my catalog in XMPie itself, going into a catalog called stock items. Here I can see the values for in stock. XMPie is linking into the Avanti Slingshot inventory API to read the quantity available or on hand of individual items within the catalog. I can see that same quantity on hand, for example, item 10874, quantity on hand is 35,101. If I look at that same item in the item inquiry in Avanti Slingshot, I can see that the on-hand quantity for that item is the same, 35,101 for item 10874. If I then go ahead and order that item, I'm going to place an order for 50 at $2.50 each. And check out. I'll use my address. I'll choose overnight as my service. And submit my order, check out. I now have order 32325. I can always at any point in XMPie go and review that particular order. The status currently is in progress. And I can see the details in here. Status is pending. Back in Avanti Slingshot, if I refresh my order list, That order has now been created, order 473. If I go into that particular order, we can see the details. Item 10874, it's a finished good, is a catalog, ordered, and reserved quantity of 50. I can actually see the quantity in there, still 3,500. Committed is now 50 for this one. Has not been adjusted out of inventory yet. I can also see the rest of the information about my order, the billing address, shipping address, the shipping method, and of course the quantity going to each, the external order ID of that particular order from XMPie. Within the line item, I can also see the external identifier of that particular item from, again, from XMPie, 4445. And I've also mapped in the order number from XMPie as the order number of the Avanti Slingshot order. So I can see all the same information. The order itself has already been released, and it's now effectively in production. In this case, because it's a finished good, it is ready for picking. We've had the system set up to automatically create a fulfillment pick for released orders containing fulfillment items. So if I go to the pick list view within Avanti Slingshot, I can see that there's a pick list created for that order 473, item 10874, 50 of them, and it is in picking. It's already been started. Back in the UStore administration page for the production, for the jobs themselves, we can always see the jobs that have been created in the system. I'm in the pending prints queue right now. I can see our order in there for 50 of that particular item. I can go ahead and say, okay, it's ready for picking in this case, and that click the prepare to go into prepare mode or into the ready to produce, in this case ready to pick status. And I'm going to go ahead and process so that it advances the order status in XMPie. Okay, so that item now has a status of ready for delivery, that order. And again, to the end user, back in the on the XMPie side, you can still see that that particular order is now ready for delivery. Okay, so back on, as I'm going through these processes of picking and then shipping in Avanti Slingshot, the status will be updated automatically back into XMPie when shipped. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that pick. And the status changes to picked in staging area. In the Avanti system, I'll go ahead and create a shipment for that order, in this case one item. Ship that. I can also set up my box details. So in the boxes tab here, I'll just choose how it's being packed. That'll populate what box I'm using. That'll populate the size, and I'll just drop the item on the scale to set the weight. And then in the carrier details tab here, I can actually choose to punch out to a carrier. So in this case, it looks like I'm using UPS. So I can go ahead and click on Get Packing Label. And do I want to send the ship request? And that's success. And now I have my tracking numbers and my labels in this shipment in Avanti Slingshot. And now I'm ready to actually confirm. It's now been picked up by UPS in this case. I'm going to go ahead and confirm the shipment. And confirming the shipment in this case will send the status and the tracking details, the shipment details, back to XMPie to update that order for the end user. Okay, so we've now confirmed that shipment. We know what the rates are. The tracking number you can see there ends in 3317. And if I go back now into the order as the end user that placed the order in the first place, I can now see, if I reload my status page, that the status has been set to delivering, and it has my tracking number. There's 3317 in XMPie. So the status of that order has now been set to delivering, and you can see that not only for the end user itself, but of course also in the administration page for XMPie. And there's our order here, delivering status. And so at any point, the end user has the ability to go and see their order, see their tracking information. In this case, it's a UPS tracking number, and see the status of the particular order updated automatically. Back in the catalog itself, you can see that the item now in stock is 35,051, and that of course is because we shipped an extra 50. And again, back in the Avanti Slingshot system, everything is in sync. If I go back to my item inquiry for that same item, 10874, $35,051. I can also see in the inventory inquiry the transactions for this particular item. And there's the shipment that we just created of 50, reflected back in XMPie in the catalog. The benefits of this integration include displaying the true quantity of items available in the warehouse for the end user to order to avoid fulfillment problems and improve customer satisfaction. Automate the entry of sales orders to eliminate re-entry of information and potential for errors. Enable the workflow automation to push jobs to production and fulfillment automatically, reducing turnaround time. And provide direct access to order, shipment status, and tracking details for the user or the customer who placed the order to free up CSR time.